16b, the Mishnah. Judy, you take a Gemara out of my office? Or you have? Yud Zayin, Tez Zayin on the base. Just on the base. How far did you get this morning? Okay, let's go. Misha Nozavu Beis HaKvoros. A person is in the cemetery, and he says, Hareini Nazir. He says, I'm a Nazir, in the cemetery. Afilu Hoyo Sham Lamed Yom. And he's there 30 days in the cemetery. Ein Odon Lo Min HaMinyon. It doesn't count towards his counting. He has to count 30 clean days, right? Days of purity. So it doesn't contribute to that. Then it may be korban tumah, right? And also he doesn't bring korban tumah. Why? Because when do you bring a korban? When you become, if you were Torah and you became contaminated. But since here from the very start he was contaminated, so therefore he doesn't bring a korban. We'll see. The Gemara discuss. What about if he drinks wine and he cuts his hair? Is he subject to malchus? He is subject to malchus. We'll see. We'll see. It did start to a degree, but it didn't start fully. No, but he chose. He was in the basic verse says Hareini Nazir. He says, I'm a Nazir now, and he's in the cemetery. Huh? Well, he's in the cemetery. Okay? Yotzav Nichnas, so Rashi and Tosas explain what happened. He went out and he underwent the full, the paraduma. He had sprinkled 3rd and 7th. Then he went back. Olo min aminyon. Now those days we start counting in. So therefore now if the days are canceled, let's say he comes out and now he starts counting. And now the days are what? Are canceled. Because he becomes contaminated. Or maybe korban tumah. So now he has to bring a korban tumah. Right? Because the Torah says, hayomim are yiplu. The days that he counted fall away when he becomes contaminated. So if there were clean days, and the days are now affected through contamination, so the Torah says that's when you have to bring a korban. But if initially he accepted the Naziris in the cemetery, there were never days that he was not contaminated. No days are being canceled. Okay? So therefore, Yotzo, maybe korban tumah. Reb Lezer Omer lo bo b'yom. Shenema v'yom rishonim achiyu yomim rishonim. He says you have to have minimally 2 days because it says hayomim rishonim yiplu. According to the Tanakama, you come out, you start count, that's enough. And then your period of Tara is canceled, you have to bring a korban tumah. Rebbe Lezer says, no, you have to have minimally 2 days, because it's hayomim harishonim yiplu. The days are minimally 2. 1 second. So take a look in Tosas. Rebbe Lezer Omer lo bo b'yom, klomar. Im nichlas bo b'yom sheniter ein maybe korban tumah ad yom sheni shemaschil sheyischel atayr shnem hayomim harishonim yiplu. You have to have yomim. The binim besose sheyisto beis yomim. You have to have 2 days that are canceled as a result of contamination. There's maybe korban tumah. Dun the motz lemisni. Tay ben nozer tor shenitma b'yom rishon shel kabolos naziru. So the machlokes Rebbe Lezer and the Tanakama could be a regular Nazir. Person says Hareini Nazir, and then on the first day he goes into a cemetery. According to Rebbe Lezer, he doesn't bring a korban tumah because it says the days are canceled. Here there was only 1 day. It's the first day, right? Ubiyom shenitma b'tchila the Rabbana maybe korban tumah. The Rebbe Lezer maybe korban tumah elamona zayin yimei tumah umaze v'shona v'tovel umona chavtes yom and yom rishon shemona umegalech bo b'yam shulami. Okay. Further, Itmar. Misha Nozar who basic for a person made himself a Nozir, he was in the summer. Rabbi Yochanan Omar, Naziris Chalolov. Here, the Naziris is effective, even though he's in the cemetery. Reb Shlokisham ain't Naziris Chalolov. Reb Les says no, the Naziris did not take effect. Reb Shlokish. Yochanan Naziris Chalolov, Sovi Mitla Talyo, Vakaima. Meaning, the Naziris is like, we'll see in a moment, it's like, it's there. It's like suspended. So the moment he purifies himself, the Naziris will take effect. There's something preventing Naziris from taking effect. The Naziris Tyro, correct? Because he's coming. Reish Lakish ein Naziris chala olav. Reish Lakish says no. If a person says he's a Nazir in the cemetery, it's like saying nothing. It's as if you never accept the Naziris because it cannot be effective. So therefore, let's say now he purifies himself. Now that he's pure Torah, it doesn't take effect. Understand? According to Rabbi Yochanan, the Naziris is hanging. It just has to take effect. So when is that? When he becomes Torah, the Naziris will take effect. According to Reish Lakish, saying you want to be a Nazir when you're Tameh, it's nothing. So what's the difference? If he accepts it again, according to Reish Lakish, if he accepts the Naziris when he's Tyro, he says Harim Nazir again, that's when it's effective. Vilo lo, the Gemara is going to refute Reish Lakish. Eisvei, Rabbi Yochanan, Reish Lakish. So Rabbi Yochanan asks Reish Lakish, Misha knows our Mishnah. Misha knows the Beisak Voris, Afilo Hoyusham Shaloshim Yom, Ein Olam Minamin. It says a person's in the cemetery, even if he's 30 days, it doesn't count towards his counting of 30 days. Ve'ino maybe Korban Tuma. So what's the inference of that? Korban Tuma Hudlo Maisi, or Mechachalei. But it seems to be regarding other halachas, let's say for drinking wine and cutting his hair, right? It's effective. It seems to be. It's a Korban Tuma he doesn't bring. But factually it's Chal. So Tosas says, when we say mittel talya, become nearly doser. But pirish, the Naziris Tyra, which means when the Naziris Tyra, the Naziris Tyra will be effective. But it seems to be, Amalei, so Reish Lakish is refuted. It seems to be, he doesn't bring Korban Tuma, but everything else other than Korban Tuma, it seems to be, is fully effective. Amalei, Eina B'Toras Tuma of Eina B'Toras Korban. What it means, he has no relevance to the laws of Tuma or Korban, and he's not a Nazir. Eisvei, Misha Yotome V'Nozar. It says Misha Yotome V'Nozar. A person was contaminated, not in the cemetery, but it's the same thing. V'Nozar, and he says Hareni Nozir. Person went to a funeral, now he's out of the cemetery, and he says Hareni Nozir. Okay. Also legalech l'shtosiyad, says he's not permitted to cut his hair, he's not permitted to drink wine. V'letami l'meisen, contaminate himself. V'mgileach v'shose yayin. If he did cut his hair, he drank wine. He gets malchus. It seems to be wise to get malchus because of the original acceptance of the Nazirus. But factually, if you tell me the original statement was totally ineffective, had no value, why should he get malchus? According to Brisa, the Brisa is explicitly, person was tamei and he says everything nazir, he drinks wine, he cuts his hair, or he contaminates himself meaning after he becomes Torah, even though he didn't make a new commitment, he gets malchus. If you say it's effective, let's say even when he's tamei for drinking wine, cutting his hair, and when he becomes Torah, it takes effect from the original acceptance. Okay, that's why he receives malchus. For what? For tuma. So why should he receive malchus? Right? So it seems to be this brisa again is a refutation on Reish Lakish. So Tosas asked the question. He went out at the paraduma and he made a new commitment. He said, "Areni Nazir." Since it's Arachin, I mean, so what's the chiddush? It's like saying he was tamei. What he registered meant nothing. He went out. They did the paraduma ritual, 3rd and 7th day. He became Torah. And he said again, "Areni Nazir." So if you said Areni Nazir, what's the chiddush? I need the Bryce to tell me he gets malchus. What? Reish Lakish said before, it's nothing. So Via, why? We said before not this way. We said no. Tosef. Wait. 1 second. Avagav lo hoder Omar Reini Nazir. Elo Omar Yochalai Naziris. He said no. He said something. He says let the Naziris be chal. He didn't say Reini Nazir. No, but again, it's only because if he wouldn't make that statement now, he had to say something. That's the chiddush. That's what Tosas Tupshatim. Tosas Tupshatim. Lo avom hari Nazir elo Omar Yochal Naziris Olai. Even though he didn't say an expression where he normally would be a Nazir, right? The verse of Yochalai Naziris, he's not a Nazir. Inami Yishlom Kamashlam Braiso, the Miyad Yitayir Mutolov Lakabel Naziris Miyad Vor Bal Yachim Meino Nazir Miyad. You hear this? Originally it meant nothing. The original Nazir was not effective. Let's say a person makes a netter, he will make himself a Nazir, and he doesn't. And he lets 3 regalim pass. What is he violation of Bayachid? Because he delayed his netter 3 regalim. Because he originally said it when he was Tomei Hareini Nazir, it wasn't effective. But if you said you want to be a Nazir, that means when it will become available, you want it to take effect. You're committing yourself to be a Nazir. Let's say he doesn't commit himself to be a Nazir. That's the Chiddush. Even though originally the Nazirus wasn't effective, but when he says Hareini Nazir, no, it's not effective. It's the equivalent of saying I accept myself a netter to make myself a Nazir. So that's what it means. When he went out, he had the paraduma. Now he has an obligation to recommit himself. That's the Chiddush. He has an obligation to recommit himself because originally the statement when he was Tomei, he said Hareini Nazir. No. He's Chayv Malchus when he makes the new commitment. He's not. He's only in violation of Baltachir. He's in violation of Baltachir, which is Lav Shem B'Masa. But if he makes the new Naziris based on that original commitment, now he's a Nazir. So of course, if he drinks wine, he contaminates himself, he cuts his hair, he gets Malchus because he's violating his new Naziris. The question was, if he's making himself a new Nazir, what's the Chiddush? That was the difficulty. The answer to the Chiddush is not that he's a Nazir. He makes himself a Nazir yet. That he has an obligation to make himself into a Nazir. Because the original statement, I want to be a Nazir, even though it wasn't effective. It's not activating. No. It's not activating anything. The original statement obligates him to accept upon himself a new Nazirus. Since the original Nazir couldn't take effect because he was contaminated, but he said he wants to be that. Since like Megan Netter, when I'll be able to be a Nazir, I'm vowed to make myself into a Nazir. Okay? Further. Esvei. Ein bein tomei shenoza l'nozitor. It says there's no difference in the person who's tomei when he made himself into a Nazir, and nozitor shenitmo el tomei shenozar shvi shelo ola lo leminyan. Yeah? The 7th day, he could count it as day 1 towards the Nazirus, right? Which means he goes, he says, Hareini knows he's tomei. So he needs the paradum. If they sprinkle him on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. After the 7th day, he goes to the mikveh. When he comes out of the mikveh, that day, there's, let's say, 2 hours left till sundown. That day could be counted as day 1 towards the 30 days. Mm-hmm. Let's say he's a person who was Torah when he became a Nazir, became contaminated. So he has to have 3 and 7 of the paraduma, but he can't start counting the Nazirs till he brings his korban. That means on the 8th day. So if he was a Nazir Tomei initially, he counts day 1 on day 7. But if he was a Nazir Torah, originally became contaminated, day 7 cannot be counted as day 1. He has to wait for day 8 to count day 8 as day 1. Because he can't start counting new Naziros till he brings his korban. Following. Okay, Gvaldik. Let's see. Eimei Tomei Nazir, Nazir Shenozar LeNazir Tor Shed Nitmo, Tomei Shenozar Shvi Shelo Ola Lo Minyan, Nazir Tor Shnib Ein Shvi Shelo Ola Minyan. These all Gedaito Lo Chayil. If you tell me it does take Amai Ola Lo Minyan, right? Why is it Ola Minyan? He has no obligation, right? We'll see in a moment. Omar Mar, let's stop for a minute. So Tosa is an interesting question. What's the halacha? A person, let's say, touches a sheretz, not tumas mes, and now a kohen touches a sheretz. He goes to the mikveh. Is he permitted to eat truma before nightfall? He's not permitted to truma. He needs what we call erev shemesh. He has to wait till nighttime. Over here, Tosis asks if in fact he was sprinkled on the 7th, 3rd, and the 7th day. He goes to the mikveh on the 7th day. We're saying he's counting day 7 as day 1 of the Nazirus. But he's not fully Torah. Because the Erev Shemesh didn't come. Nightfall didn't come. So yes, how could he count day 7 as day 1? Factually, he's what? He's a Tful Yom. Right? The night, he's not fully Torah. So Tos says a Chiddush. That since he's not fully Tomei, it's sufficient that day 1, that day could be counted as day 1. That's what he says. You have the Chiddush. It's Chiddush. If he's a Kohen, he can't eat Truma. If he couldn't go into the base of Mikdash. But regarding the Zerus, he could count it as day 1. It's Chiddush. Person is a Tful Yom, and he wants to count day 1 as day 1 to be a Nazir. It could be counted as day 1. No, it's not all income. No. Klisha, it's a week because he's a Tful Yom. Tomei couldn't go to the base of Mikdash, couldn't eat Truma. But for Truma, for Nelza, it's good enough. It's good enough for Nazir. Because it's a Tumah Kalisha. It's a weak Tumah. Beis HaMikdash, even Tumah Kalisha, even a weak Tumah, you can't go into Beis HaMikdash. Ti Truma, or Kodshim, even that you couldn't. But for Naziris, it's good enough. Not to that degree. It's a Chiddush. You this? Everybody agrees that when a person becomes a Nazir, when he's Tomei, it takes effect. It's effective. Ki eloki pligi lemilki. Yeah? They're arguing, is it effective to the degree that if you drink wine or contaminate yourself, or you cut your ear, you get malchus. Rabbi Yochanan Sava came in the chayil loki. That since it's effective, it's like you're a bona fide Nazir. Rish Lokish Omar lo loki b'chaylo. You don't get malchus, but it's chaylo. 1 second. So Tosas says, take a look, Tosas, as the lines get wider. Uchshiyitare in tzorch larzor lidor b'nozir. The chaylo lov min nazirus rishon. V'necha hashn shvi ololo min aminyan. V'afilo yazu v'yikabel v'uadin. Nami demoder b'shimen lokish. Im shose yayin loki toch yimei tumoso. Ashti v'takl ki pligi lemilpi pirish atuma luchut. Yesu be'atuma revochsa v'keim d'chal nazirus. Sharmila ashtis yain taklach schayl namatuma. Nisu lo tseis v'lo yotza. D'rachmona lo miatei. El mikorban l'chudei l'kamon. Malchus the tuma. Yet we find, he says, terrific. Everybody agrees. The Mishnah says, if a person accepts Nazirus and he's in the cemetery, he's in the cemetery. So does he have to bring a korban? Definitely not a korban, right? Because it says the days fall away. So korban. The question is, as he doesn't have to bring a korban, maybe he's not in violation of contamination. Since he started in a contaminated state, maybe the laws of contamination has no relevance to him. Just as Torah says he doesn't bring a korban, I mean, drinking wine, cutting his hair, everybody agrees he gets malchus. The question is, what about Tumah? Does he get malchus for Tumah? That's the machlokis. Right? Necha hashri shvi olev afilo yavi kabel who had moderish lokish. Na im shosi yain do lok tochime tumos ashtiyo vataglach ki pligi lemilki pirish atuma lechud. If they forewarned him not to remain, let's say he was in the cemetery, he could have gone out. Rabbi Yochanan said, "Came in the chal naziris l'shar mila ashtiyas yain taglachas chal nami atuma." Im Yisru lotzis v'liyotz rachmon lo miyate eli bikorban l'chudei. Okay, let's go further. So that's my Ravash. Mechol nami kulam lo pligi dechaylo. Everybody agrees that the Nazirus takes effect even though it's in a contaminated state. Elki pligi lemilki. Rabbi Yochanan Shava came with the chayloki. Since he's a bona fide Nazir, if he stays in the cemetery, he doesn't go out, he gets malchus. Rishlok Shava lo loki v'chaylo. So Eser Rabbi Yochanan Rishlokish. Misha Nazir beisakvorois. Our Mishnah. This is a person who accepted Nazirus and he's in the cemetery. The days cannot be counted towards the 30. You see it? Veni may be korban. Veni may be korban tuma. It doesn't mean korban tuma. So what's the inference of that? Korban tuma hu de lo maisi, right? Hamilki loki alek. Korban tuma he doesn't bring, but malchus will get because it says in the Mishnah the only thing he doesn't have to do is bring the korban. So on that he says bedinu the listening any loke. Really, it should say he doesn't get malchus. Since it says if he was purified, now he becomes contaminated. He has to bring a korban tuma. Factually, it's even more than that. He won't even get malchus. But the reason why it says any maybe korban is to contrast it with the case that if factually he was purified and he contaminated himself, then he does bring a korban tuma. Toshma. What's the difference between a Nazir who was Tomei and a Nazir who was Torah became contaminated? A Nazir who was Tomei and then he had the Poraduma, the 7th day is counted as day 1. But it seems to be Hola Malkos, Zevze Shovin. But regarding Malchus, we don't differentiate between a Nazir Torah and Nazir Tomei. We'll get Malchus, Amalei Lo, Taglachas, Zev Zeshovin. Avalini Malchus, Mai Zelok, Vazena Loke. Here, regarding cutting one's hair, there's no difference between Nazir Tomei and Nazir Tor. But regarding Malchus, there's a difference. For Tumah, you won't get Malchus. And for what? And the other case where you're Tor and you can hand, then you will get. So Maria says, listen, so wanted to say that. Why are we only speaking regarding cutting one's hair? On that it says, B'takante, Kamairi, B'tikukulo Kamari. We're speaking about how to perfect himself, not how to when he's doing the wrong thing. Okay, now the Gemara is going to bring the final thing, which is a refutation, Reish Lakish. Toshma, Misho Yotomi V'nozar. Okay, it says a person who's Tomei, and he says he's a Nazir when he's in the state of Tumah. Also, Legaleach Lishtos Yayin. He's not permitted to cut his hair, he's not permitted to drink wine. It says, if he cut his hair, he drank wine, or he contaminated himself. It says explicitly. What does it say? He says he gets malchus for contaminating himself. But according to Reish Lakish says that if you're tomei, you're not permitted to drink wine, not permitted to cut your hair, but contamination not. Here it says explicitly, a person's tomei and he says, I'm a Nazir. If he does either A, B, or C, even contamination goes into a cemetery, it says he gets malchus. Two of those. So there's a refutation on Reish Lakish. So we conclude like Rabbi Yochanan. So let's just sum it up. According to Rabbi Yochanan, person's in a cemetery. And he says, Hareni Nazir, he's not permitted to enshrine, drink wine, he's not permitted to cut his hair. If he goes out of the cemetery, goes back in, right, he's going to get malchus. Because the exclusion is only regarding a korban tumah, but regarding, I'll give you an example, a kohen. Let's say kohen's tummy. Today we have no paraduma. Is a kohen permitted to go to a cemetery? It's not permitted, right? But you're already contaminated. But the Torah says you're not permitted to expose yourself to tumah, to the contamination of the dead. A Nazir, Rabbi Yochanan holds, even though when you said I'm a Nazir, he already had the contamination of the dead on himself, but to contaminate yourself again, Torah says a Nazir is not permitted to contaminate himself, like a kohen's not permitted to contaminate himself. The Torah says you don't bring the korban. That's korban you don't bring. Because korban's only if you're counting in a state of purity and you contaminate, that's when you bring a korban. But in terms of contamination, a Nazir is not permitted to contaminate himself. Even though when he accepted upon himself he was in a state of contamination, it doesn't make a difference. Okay? So Reish Lakish. No, we came out, everybody agrees it takes effect. We proved. Everybody agrees it takes effect. Even if he's tomei. So drinking wine and cutting his hair, even Reish Lakish agrees, if you do that, you'll get malchus. What about regarding tumah? No, so that's what Rabbi Yochanan says. That's what Reish Lakish says. Just as the Torah says he doesn't bring a korban tumah, that tells me he's not subject to the laws, the issue, the provision of tumah. Rabbi Yochanan says it makes no difference. That's regarding korban. But regarding tumah, he's not permitted to contaminate himself. And what's the proof? We just quoted a brayso. It says if he does contaminate himself when he's in a state of tumah, it's a sofik sarboim, he gets malchus. So you see, clearly the exemption is only the korban, but the provision of contaminating himself, although he's in the state of tumah, is in place. It's like a kohen contaminating himself. Even if a kohen's tomei contaminates himself, he gets malchus. Now, boy Rava. Now Rava asks a question, poses a question. Nazir v'beis hakvaros. Yeah, a person's a Nazir, and he's in the 70. Mau. Now, a Nazir goes into, now the halacha is like this. If a person is in the Beis HaMikdash, you're listening, not unladen Nazir, and he's able to, and he stays there long enough that it takes to prostrate himself. It's called Kadesh Tachavoch. And he stays and he doesn't go out, he gets malchus. Let's say he's tummy. Person's tummy goes in the Beis HaMikdash, right? And he doesn't go out, and he stays. Let's say he stays for 5 minutes, he'll get malchus. He stays for 3 minutes, he won't get malchus. Although he violated the law, he's not permitted to go into the Beis HaMikdash in a contaminated state. But to be subject to malchus, it has to be kadesh tachavoyim. It has to be long enough that he could prostrate himself in the sanctuary. So the question is, what about a Nazir? A Nazir goes into a cemetery. How long does he have to stay in the cemetery to be subject to malchus? Do we say it's similar to the person going to the Beis HaMikdash? You have to stay for a certain period of time, or no, it's immediate. The moment he goes in, he contaminates himself. Okay? Boy, Rava. Nazir, yeah. Nazar v'beis hakvoros. Person says, Hareini Nazir, he's in the cemetery. Mao boy shia l'malkos. Does he have to stay there for a certain period of time to be subject to malkos? So low. So Tosas explains. Take a look. It's a list on the line. Boy shil malkos. Ki'echadavina shia per beis gabi migdosh or low. Do we compare it to going to the Beis HaMikdash or not? Is it the same? Tomorrow says, Hechidam, what's exactly the shayla? Ile medom alei, David lo sinzer, lom le shia. If, let's say, they say to the person, don't make yourself a nazir if you're going to contaminate yourself. And he goes and he says, I'm already a nazir. That means he's contaminating himself. A nazir contaminates himself. Let's say a nazir touches a corpse. Did he violate his nazirus? So if they said, do not contaminate yourself, and he says, don't say Hareini Nazir, because the moment you say Hareini Nazir, you contaminate yourself. He doesn't listen, it's understood he's going to get malchus. Get malchus. Okay? He's in the cemetery. He says, don't accept upon yourself Nazirus. Lamale Shia. What does he have to? He does not stay there. He contaminates himself. That's a violation of this Nazirus. Right? My time low. Low boy Shia. Komistri Bey. Komaster. They forewarned him. Hochanami Komastri Bey. What's the case speaking about? Elagon Shinichlas Shida Table Migdol. Get this. I turned the page. Norman. He wanted his cemetery in a box. A sealed box. It was only open on top, but the sides, the bottom were closed. Somebody comes and opens the bottom of the box. So until they open the bottom of the box, he's insulated from the tumor, right? Somebody comes and opens the bottom of the box. So Kigamir and Shio Beis HaMikdash. And now they say to him, you got to get out. So here he didn't go in. When he went in, in what state did he go in? Somebody else removed the bottom of the box. How long does he have to stay there? Factually, let's say he leaves immediately. He was an onus, correct? He had no choice. He's a victim. But let's say he has the chance to go out and he doesn't go out. How long does he have to stay there to be in violation? To be subject to Malchus? That's the Shayla. Regarding being in the Beis HaMikdash, you have to be the Kdeshiyah to be subject to Malchus. You have to be there long enough that you could prostrate yourself. Mi Gemir and Shiyah mi Beis HaMikdash. Do we learn the length of time he has to be there from the Beis HaMikdash? It's Alochom Sinai. He has to be there long enough that he could prostrate himself. Avavroilo, but if you're outside the Beis HaMikdash, the moment you could go out, you don't get out soon enough, you're subject to Malchus. Odilma Loshna, we don't differentiate. Just as the Beis HaMikdash, you have to stay there long enough that you could prostrate yourself. Alochom Sinai, same thing by what? Same thing regarding the Nazir. Teku. Mara leaves it unresolved. It's unclear. Boy Ravashi. Another shayla. Nazir vu beis hakvoros. Boy giluach olo. Yeah. Now what's the halacha? A person's a Nazir who's Torah. Says a reigning Nazir person is pure, it's not going to, and let's say 3 days into his Nazirus, he becomes contaminated. He's exposed to the contamination of the dead. What does he have to do? So he has to, Torah says he has to shave his hair before he could start counting towards the new Nazirus. Meaning he has the Paraduma, 3rd and 7th, right? Shaves his hair, and then he starts counting towards the new. Now the question is, what about a person, he never was ever Torah? He accepted Nazirus, he was tummy. Said Iranian Nazir, he was tummy. So now he has to undergo the Paraduma, 3 and 7. Does he have to cut his hair before he starts counting towards the 30 days? That's the Shaila. Boy Rava, Nazir Beis HaKvoros, Ton Giluch Lo, Kiboy Taglachas Tor Shenitmo. The Matame Lanzuri say, maybe when does the Torah say he has to first cut his hair before he starts counting the 30 days of Taro, where in Nijri he was a Nozitor, and he became contaminated. Abul ni Tomei Shenozalo, but if initially when he became a Nozi, he was always Tomei, maybe the Torah doesn't require him to cut his hair. let's say a person didn't take a haircut for 3 weeks, and he says, Iranian nausea. So he starts growing the hair. Does he have to cut his hair before he starts counting 30 days? Even though he has taken a haircut in 3 weeks. From that point on, he just counts 30 days. Similarly here, since in fact he was never a Nazitor, so he lets his hair grow. Odim lo shno, we say no. Before you start counting the Ziris Tara, the halacha is you have to cut your hair. Do we say it's only a person's tar who wants to count? Came Tomei or no? You had a question. Judy, you with me? Do you need a haircut or not? I'm not sure. Rosh Hashanah. Okay. The question is this. The Torah says at birth, this normal scenario in Torah. A Nazir is Torah. Counts a week, becomes Tomei. Before he starts counting, the new counting towards Tara again, he has to cut his hair. What about a person who was never Torah? He accepted his Nazirus in the state of Tumah. Maybe the Torah doesn't require you to cut off his hair. Well, maybe still, makes no difference. That's the Shiloh of the Gemara. Toshma. Misha Noza Abu Beisakvoros. Our Mishnah. Person made in Nazirus, he was in the cemetery. V'hoi afilo yasham shloshim yom. He was in the cemetery for 30 days. Eino ola lumina minyan. It says, he does not count those days towards 30 because he's in a state of contamination. Ve'eino mevi korban tumah. And it says, and when he achieves tara, he does not bring a korban tumah. So what's the inference in the Mishnah? Korban tumah de lo maisi. Korban tumah he doesn't bring. Avagiluach boy. But cutting his hair will have to. Because if he doesn't even have to cut his hair, what does the Mishnah only tell me he doesn't bring the korban? Let him tell me in addition he doesn't cut his hair. On that the Gemara says no. Matam kumar. Matam enu maybe korban tuma bishum dulo bigluchi. When does the Torah require you to cut your hair? If you have to bring the korban, if you're required to cut your hair. But since he's not required to cut his hair, that's why he doesn't bring the korban. So there's no inference from the Mishnah. Toshma. Ein bein tomei shenoza lenozitor shenitva. There's no differentiation between a person who became a nazir when he was tomei to a person who was Torah became contaminated. Elatomi shenozar, a person who was tomei who became a nazir, shvi shelo odlo min aminyan. The 7th day, the second sprinkling, which is on the 7th day, day 1, day 7 is counted as day 1. V'nozitor shenitva, but a nazitor who became contaminated, ein shvi shelo odlo min aminyan. Why? Because he could only first bring the korban on the 8th day. My love, holitaglacha zev is a shovin. But it seems regarding cutting one's hair, the Bryce only mentions what is the difference whether he count day 7 as day 1 or not. Why don't we say another difference? Whether he has to cut his hair or not. Right? My love, holitaglacha zev is a shovin. Lo, holimalka zev is a shovin. Avotaglachas my zemegaler zenim, which means the shovin, that's in regard to malchus. If he cuts his hair, he'll get malchus. But in terms of the obligation to cut his hair, not. Smar says, listio, so why doesn't it mention it? Factually, that is another differentiation. Whether he has an obligation to cut his hair or not, it should say it. Tonishvi shelo b'chol mili means everything that has relevance to the 7th day, that's included. When we say the 7th day, we speak about the 7th day, everything's included. Toshma. Yeah. Ein lielo yimei tumoso shene'olu min aminyan. Yet again. Yimei chaluto minayin. Interesting shayla. We're saying like this: a person is a nazir in the cemetery, comes out after 30 days. Does he have to count 30 clean days? What do you say? Yes, because the Mishnah says he's there even 30 days. Since he became a nazir, the 30 days don't count because he was always in the state of Tumah. What about a person's a Nazir, and he becomes a Mitzorah? Becomes a leper. The days that he's a leper, could he count those days towards his 30 days, although he's in the state of contamination? Or is that a pause? And then we continue afterwards. Let's see, it was 15 days, he counted. All of a sudden, on the 15th day, the Kohen pronounces him that he's a leper. Okay, he goes out of the camp, and he's leper now for 3 years. He recovers. After he recovers, do we now say the first 15 days contribute towards the balance, or he has to start all over again? That's the question. Yeah? Toshma, Ainli Alimei Tumoso Shein Olu Min Aminyon. We say when he's in the state of contamination of the dead, those days do not contribute to the 30 days. What about the days that he was definitely designated and confirmed as a leper? The days that he was leper, those days, do they contribute towards the what? Towards the 30. Vidinu, quoting a brisa. Just as the days of Tumah, he cuts his hair and he brings a korban. After mechaluto, megalech maybe korban. It's the same thing. What happens when a person is a mitzvah? He finishes his what is the initiation process? To reinstate, he has to cut off all his hair. He has to bring 2 birds, right? And waits a week. Just as the days of contamination do not contribute to the 30 days. The days that he's leper do not contribute to the 30 days. Lo, these makes a difference. This is the brisa. I make a differentiation. What's the reason why when it becomes contaminated, doesn't that contribute towards the days of Tara? Because that's a cancellation. The Kohen is Torah, and he comes in contact with the dead, what happens to him? His days are canceled out. So if we see that contamination of the dead cancels, therefore it makes sense, it cannot be counted towards the 30 days. But where do we find that a person becomes a leper, although it's a state of contamination, where do we find that state of contamination canceled? It doesn't cancel. Right? Torah only says tumas mes. If you come in contact with the dead, that's when the Nazir is canceled. Right? That's the Bryce's question. Lo, imam would be made tumas shkem mevatel be'enes hakodmin. We find the person becomes contaminated, whatever days you counted, it cancels out the days. Lefichoch ein olam min aminyon. That's the reason why you were in the cemetery even for 30 days. Any of that period of time does not contribute to the 30 days. Tom mechaluto shein mevatel hakodmin. But the days that you become contaminated as a mitzorah, those days don't cancel out the days before. Everybody agrees to that. So how do you know the days that he's in the contaminated state with the mitzorah, that those days cannot contribute to 30 days? Yes, so maybe it does contribute. You're following? Again, person counts 2 weeks, Tyra, comes in contact with the dead. What happens? The days are canceled out. Push it. What about a person that counts 15 days, becomes a mitzorah? For 3 years now. Right? Everybody agrees. The 15 days he counted, he keeps those. Now we have a question. The days that he's a mitzorah, leper, do those days, does the clock keep ticking? And we count till the end of 30 days, even though he's tamei, but it's what kind of contamination is? It's contamination of leprosy. It's not the contamination of the dead. But the Brisa compared them. So Mer says, how could you compare them? The contamination of that cancels out Tyro, that's why it can't be counted. But if a person's a leper, maybe those days could be counted. Who said it's just an interruption? Maybe they could even be counted. Tom mechaluto she'einu bevatel sakod mefikach olu lo min aminyan. Amrit. Uman nozi bikever. Shesaru roy letaglachas. Ein olu min aminyan. A person said he should be a Nazir and he's a beis hakvoros. That his hair has to be cut. And therefore it's not olam min aminyon, yimei chaluto, shein roile taglachas. Lo kol shkeim, shein olam min aminyon. It's a kol shkeim. The Nazir, the beis hakvoros, shesar roile taglachas. He's permitted to cut his hair. Yet we say those days do not contribute to the 30 days. Mechaluto, where he can't cut his hair. Lo kol shkeim, shein olam min aminyon. We'll stop here. Okay.